Frag Squad, welcome to the very first episode of Wrestling the Weekend, where we talk all things wrestling from the week. Now, in this first episode will be a little different. We're just going to be discussing WWE Smackdown and AEW Collision, as we did a previous video on Dynamite already. But moving forward, these videos will just be once a week, every Sunday. So hit that notification bell, tune in, and be sure to catch all things wrestling from the week. With that being said, let's get to it. So let's start out by talking SmackDown. I think the show was very good. I liked how they tied things together from the beginning to the end. And everything in the middle was very good as well. You had some stories developing. You had some big things that happened that we'll discuss here in a little bit. But first, let's go ahead and just start off with how the show started. So we first get out the gates, Roman Reigns and Jimmy coming to the ring. Crowd was very hot tonight. They were very excited to see OTC and Jimmy come out. Once they get to the ring, we then get Jay's music hits. Crowd then again goes crazy for Jay. I love Jay. I think he's great, and the crowd also loves him as just as much. The yeets and the hands, everybody was going crazy for Jay. Once he gets to the ring, he basically tells Roman, hear me out. I've got somebody I need you to talk to. And he's talking about Sami Zayn. Sami's music hits. He comes out to the ring and he gets there and starts lobbying for the OG bloodline. Says that they all need to be back on the same page. Remember how much fun we had. He goes into explaining the difference between love and hate to Roman, saying to Roman, you don't hate me, you love me, Roman. And that got a big pop out of me because Sami looks over and sees a grin on Jimmy's face, and Jimmy's smiling, trying not to laugh, and Sami then he pops and he says, hey, look, see, Jimmy's smiling. Jimmy knows, he gets it. And there for a minute you think that it's gonna go well, and then Roman. So Sami tells him, I'm looking for an apology, but not for me. I'm looking for one for Jay. Roman says, okay, all right. So he apologized to Jay. He apologizes for wasting his time with Sami Zayn. That's the apology we get. Sami, of course, obviously upset with the scenario, walks out of the ring, stops first, kind of talks to Jay a little bit, but then he walks out of the ring, walks up the ramp to leave. Roman then just starts yelling for Solo. Roman's got a one-track mind. Solo, that's it. He wants the title of Tribal Chief back, and he wants it now. That's all he cares about. But instead, we get Jacob Fatu on the Tron, doing a promo telling Roman he don't make the rules. Solo listens to nobody. And Jacob Fatu is just a beast. And then now you've got him doing video packages, and I'm here for it. I can't wait to see what Jacob Fatu does. Fatu is phenomenal all across the board, and to now be getting some light in front of a TV and in front of an audience, I'm excited for it, and I'm here for it. And the rest of the show goes fairly well. We had Bayley and Candice LeRae in a match. Bayley fighting from behind, the babyface just trying to get back to the top and win a match. Unfortunately for Bayley, that didn't happen. So Candice LeRae decides to fake a knee injury and distract the ref, and in doing so, she wraps her up. 1, 2, 3, Bayley loses. So unfortunately for Bayley, she's got another loss under her belt, but I do have hopes that she will eventually climb back to the top that we all know Bayley should be at. Bayley is one of the pioneers in that women's division, and I believe that she'll be back at the top sooner rather than later. We also had throughout the show some run-ins with the Motor City Machine Guns and DIY. I'm really looking forward to seeing how that all plays out. As it stands right now, Ciampa is very pissed off at Johnny for even talking to Motor City. Johnny tries to explain to him, look, we've been friends with them for 20 years. I'm just trying to chat with the boys, I'm just trying to hang out with my guys. And he just keeps getting shit for it. Ciampa just says, you need to get your head in the game. Your head's not where it needs to be. And Johnny disagrees, but here we are. So they end up having a match, and Ciampa just destroys destroys Pretty Deadly. They didn't stand a chance. Ciampa beat them up and down the ring. Johnny wanted to be tagged in at one point. Ciampa basically said, F you, I'm not tagging you in. Finishes the match on his own and then walks up the ramp on his own. Clearly something going on there. I don't know if it's going to be a Ciampa heel turn, and honestly, I'm hoping not. I don't want to see another Ciampa heel turn against Johnny. We've done it already. We've seen it already multiple times. I don't want to see it again. I would much rather see them come together against Motor City and there be a good trilogy or so of those matches, because I know that those guys can work magic together. One of the other matches we had from SmackDown was Jade Cargill, Bianca versus Nia and Tiff. I thought that match was really good. I liked the match. There was a couple run-ins there. The way that the match ended, I thought was really good as well. You had Candice LeRae come out to try and help Nia and Tiffany. Instead, that doesn't go well because Naomi comes out to stop Candice, and then you got Tiffany yelling at Candice, "I don't need your help." That just unfortunately backfires like it always does, and Bianca took advantage and got the victory for her team. But the match was really good. There was that obvious power and strength aspect. I mean, when you've got Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, and Nia Jax in the ring together, those women could lift a school bus. It's ridiculous. They are far stronger than they need to be, and I really enjoyed the aspects of that. I mean, they had one point Bianca was trying to get Nia up on her shoulders, and she couldn't do it, and Jade was... It just worked out really well. Everybody was trying to outstrength the other person, and I liked that aspect and psychology in that match. And now we go back to Motor City Machine Guns. They had a match with A-Town Down Under. Match was very good. Grayson Waller, in my opinion, has got to be underestimated as far as his comedic relief. That guy is funny as hell. There was one part in the match he's crawling across the ring and holds onto the ropes to try and get away from Shelly. I like Grayson Waller a lot. I like Austin Theory a lot as well. But Motor City Machine Guns, I mean, come on. They're Motor City Machine Guns. I've been watching them my whole life. So obviously, I'm going with them on any occasion. And of course, they do pick up the victory. But the match was very good. I think A-Town Down really held their own in that match, if you ask me. I thought it was a great match for everybody. And after that match, we get another little backstage segment there with Motor City Machine Guns as well as DIY, and Street Profits are involved in this one. They come in and tell them that they're going to be challenging next week for the tag team titles. Ciampa, obviously very upset and angry. He's mad that everybody keeps taking their spot away from them. Ciampa, still pissed off. I really like it. I want to see it cook. But like I said, I just don't want to see him turn on Johnny again. I think we've seen it too much. I don't want to see it again. After that, we get Nick Aldis, who announces a new WWE Women's Championship, the United States Championship. I think this is a great idea. I love the idea of having another title for the women to go after. I'm excited about this, and I really look forward to see how they're going to play this out. They didn't necessarily say whether it's going to be a tournament or how this is going to work. I could be wrong. Maybe I missed it. If I did miss it, let me know in the comments if you know exactly how they're going to be doing this. I would assume it would be tournament-based, but again, I may have missed it. I'm not too sure. And we wrap the night up on SmackDown with a tribal acknowledgement ceremony. You've got the Bloodline that comes out for their ceremony to acknowledge Solo Sikoa. OTC obviously interrupts this. He ain't having none of it. He makes his way to the ring. Solo tells Roman to acknowledge him, puts up his one. Crowd starts chanting, and this is where I don't know what they said because it got censored. I'm not sure what the crowd was chanting, but Roman then asked the crowd, do you guys acknowledge him? And the crowd, of course, boos, says no, and that's that. There's the crowd. The crowd is not, no one's acknowledging Solo, and I don't know why Solo's not getting that. We don't like Solo. Give us Roman. And so what ends up happening is Roman then challenges them at War Games. I don't know about you guys, but an OG bloodline and this bloodline and War Games will hit. Take my money. That will be a very, very good match, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but if they do this right, this could be really good. Roman makes a point to be like, you don't have enough guys, this and that. Solo says, oh, but I do, and he says Sammy. Sammy comes out but stays on the top of the ramp. He does not come down. Eventually, a little longer later, the Usos come out. A brawl starts to happen. Sammy still stays at the top of the ramp. He does not come down, however, until Solo takes advantage of everything and he has a hold of Roman while he's beaten down, battered, and tired, and he calls Sammy down to finish the job. Sammy does make his way to the ring. However, he Halua kicks Solo. He made the decision to stick with his guns, stay by Roman's side, even though Roman, ignored him and pushed him aside. He stuck it out, and it pays off. We go off the air with the original bloodline, with the ones high, and everybody happy. This I am really looking forward to. Now, let's get into Collision. Now, Collision was a big show. There was a lot that was going on in Collision, so there's a few things that I definitely want to touch on and make sure we discuss. One of those things being we had a very good video package for Julia Hart. That video package was cinematic, movie-esque, Hollywood-level production. Was a very good video package. If you have not seen it, go to X on AEW's page and watch it there. I also shared it on my X profile as well. That was the one thing that I tweeted last night was this is fire. That is all I said. Retweeted that video and said this is fire. Go back and watch it. It was very well done, and hopefully we get Julia here back soon. I'm imagining we'll probably get a few more video packages and then a date of when she'll be back. Or better yet, let's just make it a surprise. Just bring her back. We'll see it. We'll just bring her back, all right? That's all we're asking. And we also had a really good tag team match, and the winner would then go on to the Fatal 4-Way match at Full Gear for the titles. A very good match between Top Flight and Outrunners. I really like the Outrunners. They are slowly becoming one of my favorite tag teams in AEW. The way that they wrestle is one of my favorite styles, comparable to, and this is why, they are good friends with FTR. Very smash mouth, old school, in your face. And I like that kind of wrestling. Now, I do enjoy the flips and the acrobatics and all of the cool choreographed stuff. It's just fun. But at the end of the day, I am an old school wrestling fan. I've been watching wrestling my whole life, and I'm 35 years old. So I've seen a lot of old school stuff, and I've seen it all develop. But that Smash Mouth style is just one of my favorites, and they do it well. And the Outrunners, they won. They are going to Full Gear to be a part of that Fatal 4-Way. And I am very happy for those guys, and I cannot wait to see what they do in that match. Now, normally I am flying that AEW banner pretty hard. I'm not going to lie. AEW is what brought me back into wrestling. I didn't watch wrestling there for a good couple years, and then AEW came back and it brought me back into the fold. I got to see these guys on different platforms, got to see what they could do at a different level, and it was new and exciting. And I'm back in it now, obviously. So AEW has a special place in my heart. But with that being said, there was a segment that I just don't want them going this route, is probably the best way that I could say it. So Jack Perry had a match against Action Andretti for the TNT title, open challenge match. Very good match. Action Andretti always does really good whenever they give him a situation to shine. He always shines. Jack Perry obviously won this match. We kind of knew that he wasn't going to lose it. But after the match, Daniel Garcia comes out and cuts a promo on Perry, telling him that I am not like you. I will be nothing like you. And if you ask me, we just heard that. Didn't we? Did we not just hear a week or two ago the same exact words coming out of Kyle Fletcher's mouth to Will Ospreay? I I just don't get it. I don't know why we're circling back around to that with two other people. I don't like that idea. I think we need to come up with something different. What that is, I don't know for sure. Give me some time, maybe I'll come up with it. But I just don't like the idea of redoing and saying the same words that somebody else had already said. That's just my opinion. That is my one bad take from the show last night. Other than that, I think the show was really good. That was just my one take. Now, the next match that I want to talk about is going to be AR Fox versus Nick Wayne. That match was what we all expected as far as a choreographed, very well done match. Those two are acrobatic as all hell, and we're all over the place. Very well done. Now, Nick Wayne, before the match, he comes on the Tron before he walks out and pulls a Christian and straight calls out AR Fox and his dead father. This whole gimmick and this thing that they're doing is just ruthless, crazy, but for some reason, I love it. Like, what better way to get somebody to hate you than calling out their dead parent? You want to fight me? Talk about my dead relatives. I'm kicking your ass. That's all there is to it. And that's what I was hoping AR Fox was going to do, and he got some good licks in, but at the end of the day, Mama Wayne and Kip were just too much for AR Fox to be able to fight off. Nick Wayne does get the win with Mama's help. And at the end of the match, you've got Kip holding down AR Fox. Mama Wayne pulls out a staple gun. Nick Wayne pulls out a picture of AR Fox's father, and I believe it was his father holding him as a baby. Maybe that was the picture. And he staples it to AR Fox's head. This shit going on in AEW right now is bonkers. We've had attempted murder. We've got staples just going through everybody. It's getting a little wild out there. And if I was in that AEW locker room, I would be terrified to cross the paths with almost anybody at this point. No one can be trusted around anything office supply related. If it's a bag, if it's a staple gun, if it's a screwdriver, just stay away from everything. Be in a bubble if you're in that AEW locker room. That's what I gotta say. It's main event time, and that is the Trios match for the Trios title, and that is against Death Rider and the Conglomeration. The Conglomeration I'm really enjoying as a team. Mark Briscoe, in his own right, is everything that you want in a wrestler. I mean, he's comedic. He can wrestle. He can fight. He can do anything and everything. I got love for Mark Briscoe. He is by far a Ring of Honor great. He'll go down in their history books and Hall of Fame one day. He is a genuinely great human being from what I can tell, as well as his family. It just seems like great people. So I love Mark. So there's my little Mark Briscoe shout out. The match was crazy. The match was everything we expected that match to be. Claudio is the strongest man alive. That's just how that is. Get the Guinness Book of World Records, put him in there. Strongest man in the world. I don't care what he can bench. I don't care what he can lift. Don't care. Strongest man in the world. That guy was running around there just tackling and uppercutting and just knocking heads off. He is insane, and I really like Claudio and AEW and what he's doing there. The match was really good. The Death Riders, they're going by now. They do win. Marina gets a little distraction there and just kind of takes that briefcase and hits him in the gut. They ended up getting the pin there, but after the match, a brawl ensues of like we know that it was going to. Orange Cassidy slowly starts walking down the ramp. Jon Moxley is standing on the other side of the ring on the floor, and they just lock eyes. And they do not unlock eyes for that entire duration until they go off the air. The fight happens, everything's going on. Orange Cassidy slowly makes his way into the ring, stands in the ring. The only one left in there now is Yuta. Yuta gets punched in the face, knocks him out. And then Orange starts to get to the outside. Mox dips. Orange goes on top of the announce table and just stares at Moxley. And then a couple minutes go by, he keeps staring. And then he just dives off of the table to take out Claudio as he's staring at Mox. Mox, you see his lips just go, oh shit. And he's just thrown off, not prepared for that Orange Cassidy. And I don't think anybody was prepared for that Orange Cassidy. This Orange Cassidy, I'm here for. Now, do I think this Orange Cassidy can be the babyface to save the day? My answer, no. But who is? Who is that essential babyface that you need to shut down Jon Moxley? And I've got the name for you. That's Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega showed back up in New Japan. I don't know where he's at as far as ring health is concerned, but I do think, however, Kenny Omega can come back. You've got the Young Bucks going to be off TV for a while. Kenny comes back. Maybe feuds with Okada. Maybe even Okada joins in with him. And Kenny Omega is the one to take out Jon Moxley and the Death Riders. Let's see what happens. That wraps it up for Wrestling the Weekend. I am your host, Rob, aka Shicky. I appreciate all of you for tuning in and hanging out with us. If you could drop a like, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. You'll get alerts when we drop a new video. We're dropping a new episode every Sunday where we talk all things wrestling from the week. Until next time, squad dismissed.